Welcome to Legacy IS Academy. Today I am going to discuss CSET paper of 2020, and I will suggest first you can pause the video and then solve the questions yourself, and then you can see the solution. And I can say that this question is based on the topic which we have average, and if you know the basics of the average, then this question is not much difficult. Along with the average, if you know basics of mixtures, then this question become very easy to solve it. Otherwise it is little lengthy, like you have to assume in a class there are x girl and y boys. If x girls are there, the number of girls are x, then total marks of girls in English will be 9x, total marks of boys will be 8y, and we can say that overall will be 8.8 x plus y. In this way we can get the ratio of boys and girls in a class, or we can say that 9x plus 8y equal to 8.8 x plus y. In this way we can get a ratio of boys and girls. Second way to get a ratio of boys and girls through the mixers. We know that girls got average marks 9, boys got average marks 8, and overall average is 8.8. So in this way we can say that 8.8 minus 8 and 9 minus 8.8. So here we have girls or here we have boys. So we can say that here it will be 0.8 and ratio equal to 0.2. So we can say that 4:1. Here the girls ratio boys will be 4:1. So hope you are able to understand it. So we can say that in a class 4 girls and 1 boys. Okay, so 4 girls are there, then total will be 8 into 4, that is 32. If 1 boy is there, then total will be 7. We can say that, so total will be 32 plus 7 upon total girls and boys, that is 5. So here 32 plus 7 will be, I can say that 39 upon 5. So 39 upon 5, so the answers will be 7.8. So hope you are able to understand this particular question. So here first of all we have to know the ratio of girls and the boys, which can we get through this part. Once you know the ratio of the girls and the boys, which we have to apply it here, and then we are going to get a overall average marks in Hindi also. So hope you are able to understand. In this way also we can get a ratio, and this way also we can get a ratio of girls and boys. Now let's see one more question. This question is based on the topic of reasoning, that is blood relation. If you know the basics about the blood relation, I can say that this is not much difficult questions. In this particular questions you have to read very carefully, and we have to assign certain symbols, or I can say that the box represent for male, you can use the symbol plus for male. I can say the circle represent for female. Okay, this symbol represent for husband and wife, or we can say that couples, and this symbol represent for siblings, or this symbol represent for next generation. Okay, you can take your symbol as you want, and after knowing these symbols you have to know some basics about the question. In this question, a family of 2 generations. Okay, this information is very important to solve this particular question. We know that there are 6 members of 2 generations only. If we are missing this first information, okay, in this particular family 6 members are there and 2 generations. Okay, if we are missing, okay, we do not know how many generations are there, then these questions become very difficult. Two generation, P, Q, R, S, T, U, three male, three female. Second important information, among 6 members, there are 3 male and 3 female. Okay, there are 2 married couple, okay, and 2 unmarried sibling. We have to think about, okay, only 2 generations are there. Among these 2 generations, 2 married couple, it can be like that. Okay, these 2 married couple, again they have, okay, again they have one more married couple, can be like that. Okay, then they have some siblings also, like 1 or 2 siblings this side and 1 or 2 siblings this side. Able to understand? Once you know it, then this question is not much difficult. U is P's daughter and Q is R's mother-in-law. Q is R's mother-in-law. I can say that Q is R mother-in-law. So we can draw this diagram different place. So I can say that Q is R mother-in-law. So I can say that R has his husband. R has his husband and husband wife is R's mother-in-law. Able to understand? Q is R's, means R's husband mother is Q. R husband mother is Q. Okay, and then we have one more couple, and then U is P's daughter. So U can be this, and U is, okay, U is P's daughter, so P can be this and U can be his daughter. Able to understand? Then T is unmarried male. Okay, T is unmarried male, and then S is male. S must be married. So hope you are able to understand. This is P, this is Q, this is S, this is R, this is U, this is T. So how I am able to solve this question? Only on the information is giving 2 generation, 6 member, 3 male, 3 female. Now let's see, let's solve this question. R is U's husband. R is U's husband. R is U's husband. No, that is incorrect. R is S. R is S wife. R is S wife. Yes, S is male and R is female. R is S wife. So second option is correct. S is unmarried. No, S is not unmarried. Okay, none of the above. So answers will be B. So hope you are able to understand this particular question. And again, these questions require decent practice. If you have solved the n number of questions regarding blood relation, then this question is not much difficult. Let's see one more question. This question is based on the topic, that is calendar. In calendar, only thing you have to know some basics. After 7 days, same day will come. Or consider 1st January is Sunday. For example, 1st January is Sunday. How many days are in January? There are 31 days in the year in January. When I am going to divide 31 by 7, I am going to get remainder 3. It simple means that on 31st January, the day will be Sunday plus 3. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So hope you are able to understand. Second thing is, we should know that okay, in a year can be leap year. Whenever there are 29 days in February, year can be non-leap year. Whenever 28 days in a year or 28 days in a February. So here in a particular year 12th January is Sunday. So they have given 12 January is Sunday. Okay. Then they are asking on 12th July or 15th July. Okay. When it is a leap year or when it is not a leap year. Consider it is a leap year. So how many? Now we have to just find the odd days. Okay. Now 12th January, 12th, now we have 12th January. In January, how many total days? 31st. So 31st minus 12, remaining will be 90. Remaining will be 90. Then we have like 19 on January. Okay, 19 on January, 29 on February. March will be again 31st days. March, April will be 30 days. April, May will be again 31st days. May, June will be again 30 days, and July again 12th July. Getting my point? So we have to add all these days. We have to add all these days and divide by 7. We have to get remainder. We have to get the remainder. Again, second thing is we just take a remainder one by one only. 19 divided by 7. 19 divided by 7. What is the remainder? Okay. 19 divided by 7. What is the remainder? 14. I can say that remainder will be 5. Second, 29 divided by 7. Remainder will be 1. 31 divided by 7. Remainder will be 3. 30 divided by 7. Remainder will be 2. 31 divided by 7. Remainder will be 3. 30 divided by 7. Remainder will be 2. 12 divided by 7. Remainder will be 5 upon 7. Now add all the numbers. So when we are going to add like 5, 5, 10, 10, 5, 15, 15 and 5, I can say that 15 and 5, 20 and 1, 21. So total 21 divided by 7, remainder 0. So I can say that on 12th July, if it is a leap year, then Sunday plus 0, it will be Sunday. So hope you are able to understand. Now I got remainder as a 0, then 12th July will be Sunday. Or here option C, that's why option C is correct. If I am getting remainder 1, then 12th July will be Monday. So hope you are able to understand this particular question. So here only thing you have to understand, only you have to add all the days, divide by 7, and whatever remainder you are going to get, based on that we will get a day also. Let's see one more question. This questions I discussed already one topic, that is permutation and combination. Okay, once you know the basics of the permutation and the combination, this question is most easiest questions. We know that how many letters are there daily? D-E-L-H-I. How many words can be formed from the daily? That is, I can say that 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. But conditions are there. Conditions are there. Okay, we have to make 5 letter different words, but each has to start with D and end with I. So we have 5 different letter, but every word has to start with D, so we have to cancel D, and end with I, we have to cancel I. Now we have 3 places. In first place, how many word can come? 3. In second place, how many words can come? 2. How many letters can come? 2. And third place, how many letters can come? 1. So answers will be 6. So this I can say that very easy questions. If you know the basics of permutation and the combination, this question become very easy. Let's see one more question. This question is required some basic understanding of the mixtures. If you have basic understanding of the mixtures, then this is not much difficult question. If you do not know basics about the mixtures, I can say that you should not attempt such question in the real exams. Now I am explaining how to solve such questions, and then you know how to approach it. Then you can attempt such question in the real exam. A bottle contain 20 liter. A bottle contain 20 liter liquid or Q. Okay, 4 liter of liquid is drawn out. 4 liter of liquid is drawn out. So how much we are drawing out? 4 upon 20 into 100. I can say that 20% liquid is taken out from the bottle. Again 4 liter of the mix again taken out and replaced by the same quantity of B. So same quantity of B. Okay, I can say that a bottle contains 20 liter of liquid A. 4 liter of liquid A is taken out and replaced by the same quantity of liquid B. So again 4 liter is taken out, it is remaining is 16. Again 4 liter is added by different type of liquid. So I can say that again 4 liter of the mixture is taken out and replaced by the same quantity of B. We can say that for assume what we are doing, we are taken out 20%, replaced by different quantity of 20%. Again taken out 20% and replaced by the different quantity of B. So we can see that if consider total quantity is 100, if 20 is taken out, so remaining will be 80. Again 20% is taken out. I have discussed this concept in percentage, like successive percentage. In that time I have discussed this concept. I can say that 16, so remaining is 64. So I can say that the liquid Q is 64 and remaining liquid B will be 36. So what they have asked? They have asked what is the ratio quantity of liquid A to liquid B. So liquid A is 64 and liquid B is, I can say that 36. What is the ratio? It is divided by like 8 8 is 64 and 8 not 8. I can say that it is divisible by 4. So 4 16 and 4 9, 4 16 and 4 9. So 16 ratio 9. So hope you are able to understand this particular question. Again I want to explain you in a simple way, like total. Here total is 20, 4 we have taken out. So how much percentage? 20%. 20% we have taken out. When 20% is taken out 2 times, so consider total is 100, 20 minus 20 80, again 20, so 16, remaining is 64. Okay, so 64 of quantity A and remaining is B, that is 36. So what is the ratio? 16 4 upon 36, it will be 16 upon 9. So hope you are able to understand this particular question. Let's see one more questions. This question again I can say that very easy questions. You just know basics about the average. Okay, in 50 inning that average is 64. So 50 into 46.4, so total will be like that. Again in 60 inning the average is increased by, so 60 into 46.4, 2.6, 0 48. So this is the total score in 60 inning. Total score in 60 inning is this. Total score in 50 inning is this. If I am going to subtract total scoring from the 60 inning to total score in 50 inning, I am going to get total score in 10 inning. Just solve this particular equation, you are going to get an answer. Hope you are able to understand. I know here, like here I know total score in 60 inning, total score in 50 innings. So whenever I am going to subtract from total scoring from the 60 inning to total score from the 50 inning, I am going to get total score of 10 innings. The total score of 10 innings, if I will divide by 10, I am going to get an average of his score of last 10 innings. So hope you are able to understand these questions also. This is again I can say that very easy questions. Here only thing you know basics about the percentage. When you know the basics about the percentage, okay, I can solve this question two ways. One way is through the basics like that, like we know that price into quantity equal to expenditure. Okay, initially consider price is P, quantity is Q, to expenditure is 1200. When price is increased by 25%, the new price will be 1.25 P and quantity is reduced by 6 kg equal to 1200. So we know two equation, two variable, this question can be solved. Second thing is, whenever price is increased by 100 to 25%, so it become 125%. Okay, when price is increased by this way, then quantity has to reduced from 25 to again 100. So 25 to again 100, it has to reduced by 25. 25 upon 125, it will be 20%. It simple means that, okay, if price is increased by 25%, then quantity has to reduce by 20%, so that expenditure has to be remain constant. We have solved such questions in the percentage also. So we know that, okay, quantity is reduced by 20%, which is equal to 6 kg. Okay, then 100% equal to 5, I can say that 30 kg. So initially person is buying 30 kg. Person is buying 30 kg in how much rupees? 1200 rupees. In 1200 rupees, person is able to buy 30 kg. So what is the price? 40 kg. 40 kg. Okay, able to understand? So price is 40 rupees per kg. It simple means that initially person is buying 30 kg. Person is buying 30 kg in 1200 rupees. So price will be 1200 upon 30 means 40 rupees per kg. So answers will be 40 rupees per kg. So hope you are able to understand this question also. Let's see one question. I can see that this is the most easiest questions. Like here 3 discounts are there. This is also a discount, like 10%, 20% and 10%. How you will write? How you will write, like 10 per 100 minus 10%, again 90, again I can say 90, again minus 20%, again 10%. How you will write? Like initially you can take 10, 20, 10 or 20, 10, 10 or 10, 20, 10. Always discount will be same only. So I can say that if you have a basic understanding of the discount, then you should not solve at all. If you have decent practice of the discount, you know that, okay, 10%, 20%, 10%. How you will write it? First you will take this, first you will take this, first you will take this. Final value will be same only. So we can say that answers will be D. So if you have a practice or decent practice of the this basics topic of profit and loss, then you should not solve this question at all. You just mark answers will be D. So hope you are able to understand. So again I can say that some of the questions are very easy. It required basic understanding of the question, and some of the questions are moderate and some of the questions are tough. Point here is, if you know a method to solve a particular question, then only you have to attempt in the real exam. Otherwise you will stuck. My point here is, you have to know the basics. You have to know the basics method to solve it. Like last questions we have solved, just looking of this particular questions, you have to mark answer D. You should not solve whole process. If you are doing whole process in the real exam, it simple means that basics are not done properly of these topics. So hope you are able to understand these questions, and some few questions are there. In the next video I will try to cover 2020, and I can say that in 2020 there may be around 50 questions in the mathematics and the reasoning. Among 50 questions in the mathematics and reasoning, I can say that 35 to 40 questions are very easy. Only thing is you have to find these 35 to 40 questions. And again, thank you for watching this particular video.